FIFA are planning to expand the World Cup to 64 teams. Julian Alvarez saves Atletico, whilst neighbours Real have their own Argentine gem. The GOAT of Betis is back, as is Federico Chiesa. This is DMAC Daily. This might be a hot take, but I'm now firmly of the opinion that Sepp Blatter, one of the most comically corrupt men in football history, was somehow a better president of FIFA than the current leader Gianni Infantino. Because this absolute clown has sold out the sport to an unprecedented degree. Upon his election in 2016, Infantino claimed, "We will restore the image of FIFA and the respect of FIFA, and everyone in the world will applaud us." Yet it's overtly clear the only thing he has prioritized in his 9 years in charge is revenue alone. Expanding the 2026 World Cup to 48 teams, hosted in not one, but 3 different countries, with a Super Bowl-esque World Cup final halftime show also included, and in 2030, it will now be hosted in 6 countries. But it gets wilder, as FIFA are also discussing further expansion of the tournament to 64 teams. Now, this idea is largely being pushed by Alejandro Dominguez, who is both the president of South America's CONMEBOL and vice president of FIFA. He believes that a one-off 64-team tournament is appropriate to mark the 100th anniversary of the first World Cup. But I don't buy this for a second. The acceleration at which these tournaments are being expanded is ridiculous. This is purely an opportunistic cash grab for FIFA. Think about it. 2022's 32-team World Cup made $7.5 billion in revenue. In 2026's 48-team tournament, it's expected to surpass $10 billion in profit. Imagine how much a 64-team tournament could make across 6 countries. But there lies the problem. FIFA's sole motivation here is money. It's not about the sanctity of the competition, the matchups themselves, the physical toll this will inevitably take on players, the environmental impact of such a mega event being held in multiple continents at once. Beyond this, why stop at just 64? Let's make it 128 teams. In fact, why don't we just have all 211 member associations of FIFA compete? Halftime shows for everyone. I can understand why smaller countries like San Marino or maybe Italy might want this, why someone like Thogden might like this, but objectively, this is a terrible outcome for football. The best sporting competition in the world is being blatantly compromised at rapid speed, but that's just my take. Moving to La Liga news, and Julian Alvarez just delivered an absolute masterclass, a hat-trick of the highest caliber to save Atletico Madrid. The left foot volley was outrageous enough, yet he remarkably outdid himself later in the second half with another left foot screamer, this time from 30 yards out to secure all 3 points. Believe it or not, this wasn't even the best goal of the evening, as Rayo's Pep Chavarria scored a goal of the season contender, but the Argentine's brilliance well and truly stole the show, a timely reminder of the world-class quality he possesses. In what was an otherwise underwhelming campaign for Atleti in 24-25, Alvarez's individual contribution was the exception. 37 goal involvements in total. He started slowly, but quickly became the centerpiece of this team. After another slow start to 25-26, Diego Simeone then spoke out, claiming he's the best footballer we have and we need him. His star striker clearly took those comments in a positive manner. The only problem for Atleti is that if he continues to rise, whilst Atleti continue to regress, I'm not sure how they can keep him long term. According to The Athletic, Barcelona are actively planning to pursue Alvarez next season, with 37-year-old Lewandowski's contract expiring in 2026. On paper, Alvarez would be the perfect Barca striker, technically gifted, immense work rate, and clever movement. But financially speaking, I doubt they can afford him anytime soon. With his contract running till 2030, Atleti won't sell cheap, particularly to a domestic rival. Regardless, I envision Alvarez hitting career best form heading into the World Cup. Speaking of Argentines balling out of Madrid, Franco Mastantuono's early performances for Los Blancos have been very promising. Having arrived from River this summer for a whopping 45 million euros, there was a lot of hype around the Wonder Kid, but in a team jam-packed full of Galacticos, I assumed his involvement in the first team would be a gradual process. But Xabi Alonso has clearly taken a liking to the 18-year-old. So much so that Franco has already amassed the same number of minutes this season as both Rodrigo and Brahim Diaz combined. That right wing spot is quickly becoming Franco's, no pun intended. Having then scored against Levante yesterday, he became the 4th youngest ever goal scorer in the club's history. Now sure, with 1 goal involvement in 6 appearances, he's not taken over La Liga, but seeing the confidence of Franco grow with every match day, it's evident that Madrid have got themselves a proper player here. I mean, this is the guy who dons the 10 now for Argentina in Messi's absence. Xabi Alonso said it best, Franco Mastantuono is our present and future. I like his energy, he's fantastic. He's already in the 99th percentile worldwide for shot creating actions and successful take-ons. But forget about his statistical prowess. How many other 18-year-olds are actively benching a player like Rodrigo? One Brazilian right winger who isn't being benched though is Antony. The Real Betis star was at his brilliant best in their Europa League opener against Nottingham Forest, scoring a goal and providing an assist too. However, Forest's own Brazilian signing Igor Jesus would make history, scoring the club's first goal in European competition in 30 years and adding a second 4 minutes later. That's 4 goals now in just 2 starts for the former Botafogo forward. Elsewhere in the Europa League, Dinamo Zagreb secured a statement win over Fenerbahce. Roma picked up a big win away at Nice, whilst Freiburg, Midtjylland, Ludogorets and Braga all opened their European campaigns with 3 points. However, I'd argue the Carabao Cup has whipped up some bigger headlines in the last 48 hours. Chelsea barely scraped past 3rd tier Lincoln City. Garnacho stinker and hooked. Gittins stinker and hooked. Enzo Fernandez stinker and hooked. He was the worst player on the pitch. That man needs to be benched. But across the board, it was a terrible performance. Lincoln bullied this team airily, and oh my days, Jorgensen in goal is the stuff of nightmares. I'm genuinely terrified of facing Brighton this weekend, particularly after their League Cup showing. Their second string team battered Barnsley 6-0, which included one of the craziest individual performances I've ever seen from Diego Gomez. Bro bagged 4 goals, 2 of which were out of this world. That half volley for the hat-trick, genuinely Puskás worthy. He's probably headed to Chelsea following that display. Phil Foden carried City to the next round with a goal and assist away at Huddersfield. He is back this season. Eze bagged his first goal for Arsenal as they comfortably advanced, as did Spurs, breezing past Doncaster. Xavi Simons didn't have a direct involvement but created 7 chances for his new club. Speaking of new signings, Alexander Isak got off the mark for Liverpool, a much needed goal for the Premier League record signing. Fellow forward Ekitike also got in on the scoring act, tapping home into an empty net to put Liverpool in front. He then celebrated by taking his shirt off. A bit unnecessary, you'd think, for a Carabao Cup 3rd round match, particularly seeing as though bro was already on a yellow card and was subsequently sent off. One of the dumbest things I've seen on a football pitch in some time. Liverpool held on, but Arne Slot was fuming, calling out the Frenchman's antics as needless and stupid. To make things worse, the Reds were dealt a devastating blow as 18-year-old Giovanni Leone suffered an ACL blow on his club debut. The £26 million teenager excelled for the opening 80 minutes or so, but then tragedy struck, leaving Liverpool with just 3 centre-backs readily available. On a more positive note though, Federico Chiesa in his first start of the season picked up 2 assists as the Italian continues to step up when given the opportunity. He's now been added to the Champions League roster in Leone's absence and could become a vital player in the months ahead. His attitude has been phenomenal throughout his Liverpool career thus far. As a result, he's become somewhat of a cult hero at the club. One of those players that, regardless of who you support, you genuinely want the best for. Now for some quickfire news, and Harry Kane could be on his way back to the Premier League in 2026 with a £54 million release clause active this January, of which Tottenham have a first option clause. Now there's 0 chance of him leaving Bayern mid-season, but I can totally see him returning next summer. That Prem all-time goal scoring record is definitely still on his mind. Meanwhile, it's taken Jose Mourinho just 2 match days to criticize the refereeing on display in Liga Portugal following a disappointing draw at home. My guy just cannot help himself. Chelsea away in a week's time will be insane. And finally, Lionel Messi continues his unbelievable form for Miami. Another 2 goals and an assist to follow today. That's 38 goal involvements in 24 MLS games. Freakish stuff. Anyways guys, that's today's DMAC Daily. Thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow.